Okay, Lowe's 2618, customer Dell 1 bar area. Just want to look at this space here. Basically, you've got cabinets that are a Roman arch finish cabinet for the home. Fairly new home, 5 to 7 years old, something like that. And they're wanting to add a wine area into this corner right here. So there's a couple things to show you. First of all, this cabinet, the end of this cabinet is finished, it's flush. So when we start looking at setting that wine crate up against the side of it, we need to go higher with that wine crate to be able to go past where this molding has been cut. We'll probably need to take this molding down. There is a seam right here at about 8 feet. Need to take that piece of molding down and actually do a return cut on the end. So in other words, where that returns and goes down the end, we'll cut it back about 2 1/4 inches to return on the face. That's why I'm saying I need an extra filler so I can fill this in right here at this top for that molding to have a return. Now, because this wine box crate does not have a door on it, the corner of that molding is not going to be a problem as far as doors opening and closing. But the reason I'm saying as far as going taller, that will give me the opportunity then up here at the top to wrap those crates to where they have the same molding that this has. And if you look real close, that is basically the CCM8 molding, the large crown that Shenandoah Allen Roth has. So we shouldn't be a problem as far as matching up with those profiles, but we are not going to actually marry those two together. Now, once we cut that and do a return on the face of that filler and we make it even with the end of that cabinet, we'll just put that molding back up and fill that seam at the other end. Now, this piece here then would have about 36 inches of space between this. If we go on an 18-inch box, if we go 6 inches above that as a rise to make sure our crown clears, then we're actually going to be about 12 inches here on the bottom. This is going to give them more room inside this alcove to be able to put some shelving or some type of display space. That 30-inch spacing was not going to be enough room for maybe just one shelf. If you did the 36, you'd be able to put 2 shelves inside of that space. Now, one of the things we noticed while we were here is there's an outlet right here. It's about 11 inches from the corner. That outlet is actually going to be in the side of the cabinet where a filler is. So what we talked about was actually making that a junction box and going ahead and raising that outlet up to the same height on this wall that these other outlets are in the room. If you take a look over here, these outlets are in the kitchen area. Make that outlet the same height. That way, when we put the cabinets on the bottom, we put the countertop on, we have some place to plug in without having to go down through the bottom. Now, one of the things in the drawing it shows is the skin is across the back wall. But if you look, there's actually color on this wall here where the adjacent cabinet is. So one of the things we talked about today was putting a finished shelf here with an edge banded front, about 3/4 of an inch thick, and having that piece come down to the top of the countertop for that to be a really good supportive surface for us to put a shelf between those two. Now, that's one way of doing it. The other way is to skin this wall with about 11 1/4 inch skin and a piece of scribe across the front edge, and that would give us a minimal amount to carry that color off the back wall and around the depth. Now, that depth would be at 12 inches deep, the same depth as the other side, so that doesn't mean it's going to be coming out any further on the front. Now, in your drawing, you have a wall cabinet here used as a base, but I think Allen Roth or Shenandoah also has full height door base cabinets where we don't have to build anything underneath it. Check that out to see if that's available. If it's not, then we're going to need a 2x6 to build a base underneath that shelf underneath that, and then also some toe kick material. From the edge of that cabinet over there all the way to this wall is 8 feet. So we're thinking about taking the actual toe kick material that's under here. If you'll see, it's really dark. See that? Take that piece of toe kick material off and just run the new toe kick material all the way across to this side. Now, ordering 2 pieces of WTChem8 would probably be appropriate. That case, if something is a little bit short, we'll have enough material to fill all the way across. But we definitely want to have that where we don't have a really big difference in color from one side of that seam to the other seam. We want that to look continuous like it was original, so the layout of the cabinets. Now, up here on the walls, we got no any kind of handles or knobs or anything, but those shelves, those Xbox shelves, we've got a left-hand filler and a right-hand filler. Because of what I'm suggesting, we'll actually be putting this against the right-hand side, so the filler would be all to the left. And then that same thing on the bottom, we would add the filler to the left and push this all the way to one side. So maybe a filler overlay on the bottom and a filler overlay on the top would be appropriate. And then also we're going to do a finish shelf 12, FS 1248 across the bottom of this cabinet here. So that cabinet would have a finished bottom. Now, I talked to them about a stemware holder from Shenandoah and from Allen Roth. They come 36 inches wide. This is about a 41 3/8 inch width inside of this space. So that being said, if we want to put just the full 36 inches in here, there'd be about 2.5 inches left on either side for the stemware holder. I think that's pretty much it. If you want to get a look at these handles, if we want to try to find the matching hardware for the two doors on the bottom for the base area, that's the type of hardware you've got there. It looks like it's a black finish. Maybe it's a bronze, antique bronze, but definitely want to try to find the handles to match in the color, at least, if not in the same shape, for the bottom doors on this. And the customer did not want quarter round on the floor because the rest of the room, they don't have any quarter round anyway. So just toe kick on the bottom edge of the cabinet. Again, if you have questions about this, please give me a call at 423-650-1051. Have a good day.